So with the fireman standing carefully in front, the driver gently opened the regulator. "Come on," puffed Edward. He moved cautiously forward, ready to take the strain as his tender coupling tightened against the weight of the first coach. The first coach moving helped to start the second helped the third, and so on down the train. "I've done it! I've done it!" puffed Edward, his wheels spinning with excitement. "Steady, boy," warned his driver, skillfully checking the wheel slip. "Well done, boy! You've got 'em! You've got 'em!" And he listened happily to Edward's steady beat as he forged slowly but surely up the hill. The passengers were thrilled. Most had their heads out of the windows. They waved and shouted, cheering Edward on. The Fat Controller paced the platform. Henry with the special train waited anxiously too. They heard a beep beep. Then battered, weary but unbeaten, Edward steamed in. The Fat Controller stepped angrily forward. He pointed to the clock. The excited passengers swept him aside. They cheered Edward, his driver and fireman to the echo before rushing off to get in Henry's train.
Skarloey's journey in the show, like many characters, has been a turbulent one. But unlike some, I can say that despite going off the rails in the middle there, he did re-rail himself again, and ended his tenure on a pretty good note. The Skarloey we last saw felt like the real Skarloey, and that's something to be grateful for. When it comes down to choosing the best of the three different eras, I think the choice here is pretty obvious. Definitely Railway Series. There is just so much history in Skarloey's Railway Series journey. He had such a fantastic character arc. From his early days all the way to his old geezer years, we experienced the whole thing. His ties with the real-life Tally Clint is also something that's very strong in the books, which is something that all rail enthusiasts can appreciate. If it weren't for Skarloey, the Tally Clint would not be as so much a draw to modern audiences as it is today. It'd still be popular for being the first ever preserved steam railway, no doubt, but that connection to Skarloey does it wonders. So many younger people from all over the world make that pilgrimage to this little railway just to volunteer and help out, all because they read or watched the Skarloey stories as kids. And I think that is just beautiful. Skarloey is the heart and soul of Audrey's Railway series, and is definitely one of the most important characters in it. Hiro is symbolic of the CGI era of Thomas as a whole. He had his best episodes during the show's Renaissance seasons, and what a shock! The show started to suck hard when he stopped appearing in it. I'm not saying Hiro is the sole reason for the CGI show being good or bad. What I'm saying is that he's an interesting parallel. Hiro kinda is CGI Thomas. He's everything we love and hate about it. He's technically flawed, it makes no sense timeline-wise, and is all the more frustrating the more you think about it, but he looks so damn cool, and has a great character, and is so endearing anyway. That's CGI Thomas as a whole, is it not? Hiro is the one that kicked it all off, and the era ended with him. He's a different type of old character than Edward or Toby. He's a type of character whose presence demands respect. He's wise and thoughtful and aware, and also a jolly old soul. And in a series that lost its way and tried to make everything new it introduced the flashiest and funniest and wackiest thing they could think of, the slower, more nuanced and thoughtful character of Hiro was always welcome. He is a wonderful role model in the modern series for the young audience watching. I'm not sure if I would say Hiro is my favorite CGI character of the series. especially when we got the likes of Steven and Victor and Paxton too, but he's definitely in the top 5 for me. He has a very interesting backstory, one that they always stuck to, is a great parallel to the CGI series as a whole, and most importantly, a very consistent character. He may not be from Sodor, but he is still truly, in this fan's opinion, one of Sodor's finest. Undoubtedly gone through a lot throughout the entirety of the series. From nearly getting written off by Audrey himself, to actually being written off, from Super Chad to Scared Virgin, from selfish jerk to nature lover, Henry has been on quite the journey in all 3 of these eras. If I had to choose one definitive version of Henry that I like the best, it'd have to be the model series. Don't get me wrong, I adore his character journey in the Railway series. It's so well realized by Audrey. I love how poetic and imperfect it is. But I choose model series Henry because all the elements of his Railway series persona are there, and they get carried over into the later non-Audrey seasons. I love Jerk Henry.
Stupid bird.
But the model seasons presented several new angles to Henry's character that make him so much more layered, notably his love for nature and that sibling rivalry with Gordon. All of these elements combined form one of the most layered, interesting, developed, and well-rounded characters the Thomas series has ever presented. This has been Henry the Green Engine. CGI Henry can suck a nut. Duck really was treated well in all eras of this franchise. It's clear the writers all understand Duck is a special character. You'll never see Duck in a stupid story where he has to collect the giant bubble liquid container and take it to the clown show or whatever. There's like this unspoken rule among all that Duck is a character that deserves some time taken with him. When it comes to choosing between the 3 different eras, this is gonna be a hard one. It's a really tough pick, but I think I'm gonna have to go with the Railway series. Duck's character journey is really fleshed out in the books, and I love seeing that slow rise from random one-off to main character. When all is said and done though, I don't think you could really go wrong with any of the eras. From hosting episodes with the grandest of morals such as All at Sea in the model series, and a backstory complete with real-world railway operations in the CGI series, Duck really was a catalyst for good storytelling in all eras of the show. He is not just some silver object to jingle in front of the fanboys for good boy points. Duck is a symbol of quality in this series, through and through. He only became a major character in the Railway series once it started to work in the real-world tie-ins we all love. His design alone is proof of that. He is prominent in all of the wonderful classic seasons of the show. He was the first character the team brought back to kick off the CGI series Renaissance period. And hell, even in the show's worst era ever, Duck managed to get an episode and it was actually pretty good. Duck represents quality in the Thomas series. He was never tarnished by any bad era of the series, because when the series hit its low points, he wasn't in it. It's pretty wonderful that we have this one singular character that was never ruined, never tainted, never made into a stupid idiot child. I totally understand now why he is the mecha uber fan favorite that he is. Duck was, and is always, good, with far more to him than meets the eye. A true Sodor's finest, if I ever saw one.
Duck still wonders about the lands beyond the horizon, but he treasures being with friends most of all. And I think he knows that sometimes the best travels are those we can only dream about. Don't you?
It's weird for me to say that James, one of the main faces of the Thomas franchise, didn't have really that crazy of a journey over the course of the series. He was very much the same pretty much throughout the whole run, but he was a consistent character. And that's high praise for most of the characters on this show, who for the most part vary greatly depending on the era. The Railway series, the Model series, and the CGI series are all very different. But they do have one thing in common, and that's how consistently James was written in all of them. If I had to choose one though, it'd have to be the Model series. The number of character dynamics and unique stories the Model series played with James is really unmatched. A mere reflection with Thomas, an unwitting peer and eventual partner with Edward, second best to Gordon, a victim to Toby's enabling, and silly hijinks with Percy, James has some of the most fun character pairings in the whole show. James is always at his best when he has someone to bounce off of. It doesn't matter who it is. He's fun with everyone. And I think that, alongside his very consistent personality, is what makes him such a standout character in the show. He's just fun. James is just a fun character. One the show simply could not be without. Thomas and Friends just wouldn't be whole without our one and only James.
The shiny, shiny pink with a jet black stripe. Make way for James, hooray for James. He's the really splendid engine. Shiny, shiny engine. He's a really splendid engine. Yup, that's our James. There's James.
Now, it may seem a bit pointless since there's only two to choose from, but if I were to pick one era of the show I think was best for the character, I'd have to give this one to the CGI series. Wow, the first time CGI was chosen in one of these, look at that. Cranky is definitely one of those characters that benefited greatly from the switch to CGI. He was no longer a background piece of machinery at the dock set. He was a character, someone they had the freedom to play around with, and weren't limited by what the prop could do. Even from the very, very first CGI episode, they immediately started using Cranky more as a character instead of a prop. There's just something to this guy. He's not just a gimmick to sell a brand new deluxe-sized crane toy to go with your wooden railway set. Cranky is a fully realized character, complete with baggage and insecurities. Salty put it best, under all that gruff is a heart of gold.
Cranky! Looking down on everyone, always working, lifting cargo by the ton, and he's up so high he can reach the sky. Part of the dockside team, whatever the weather, you'll see them out there. Part of the dockside team, down by the docks, that's the place to be. Down by the docks, gateway to the sea. Down by the dockside, down by the dockside, down by the dockside is where we want to be.
Gordon is this series' representation of life, the symbolic start and end. Through him, we experience the eagerness and fearlessness and scrapes of young adulthood to the harsh reality of getting old and that you will meet an end someday. Life is a beautiful thing that no one truly understands until the end, full of moments high and low, with every person you meet along the way shaping the journey. And it's pretty damn remarkable that a fucking blue train with a face showed us that. I suppose it wouldn't be a Sodor's finest if I didn't tell you all this character's journey has been turbulent, because Toby's definitely has been. He's had more bad seasons in the show than good, unfortunately, but those seasons where they get Toby right, boy do they get him right. When it comes to choosing one of the three eras, I mean, come on, you all know what I'm going to pick. Give me the funny old man from the Railway series. There are a number of model series Toby episodes that I love. Toby's Discovery and Toby and the Flood are some of my favorites ever, and I absolutely adore his relationship with Henrietta in CGI. But there's no denying that the wise old neutral agent of chaos in the books is the definitive Toby, with many, many years of history and lore behind him. He is a character that, over the years, has sort of faded away from the spotlight. He's kinda schlubby, old-fashioned, a little weird-looking, kind of a square, and maybe somewhat forgettable. But that's the point. Toby's true character never craves the spotlight. In the modern world we live in, where everyone is obsessed with self-image, Twitter clout, hot takes, ratioing, and subscriber counts, Toby's humbleness is something worth championing. He is absolutely content in his little corner of the world, and completely fine with who he is. And I think all of us should strive to be more like him.
Toby! Wake up, Toby! The mail has just arrived! You've been saved by the Northwestern Railway!
That's a good engine. Welcome to Sodor, Toby. I know you'll be a credit to my railway.
Percy's journey over the years has been one with many ups and downs. I wouldn't say any of the eras fully got him wrong, as he's had such extremely good episodes and story arcs in all of them. He's had his share of bad ones too, but that's par for the course with most of the main characters. Not every episode in a show with 24 seasons is going to be a banger. Now, of the three eras, which would I say is my favorite? I'm of course inclined to choose the Railway series, but I'm going to go with Model series for this one. The Model series did Percy kinda dirty towards its end, yes, but it just did more with the character than the books did. There's so many more new elements at play with him, and it built upon all those friendships and rivalries that were set up in the books, developing them, and they even invented a few of their own. I love the sort of growing up arc that he had in those first 5 seasons. Starting as a happy, cheeky scamp, to being relocated, having a reluctant work colleague turn genuine friendship with Thomas, and all the friends and rivals that he made along the way. Not to mention the absolute savage he was in Season 5. If I could have it any way, I think the best version of Percy would be some sort of amalgamation of all 3 eras. Give me a version of Percy that has the history from the books, the rivalries and friendships from the Model series, and the character development he experienced in Tale of the Brave. That's my ideal Percy. Percy is wonderful because he represents childhood innocence. A wide-eyed, explosive, happy soul that is yet to be tainted by greed, pride, or status. None of that matters to Percy. He is more curious about the world around him, learning his limits and what he can get away with. And the scrapes he gets himself into over the years are all results of that. And when he does get mad, it's not because of selfishness or blasts to his ego, but because he's been wrongly treated. He can be vengeful, but never malicious in intent. There's something really beautiful about Percy. In a series full of engines that are so prideful and savage and full of themselves, it's nice having that one little soul that is yet to be tainted. Cheeky, blissfully innocent, and ultimately good. And it's no wonder why we all find him so lovable because of that.